Vitamix makes some great back-of-house equipment for food prep, and we really have two different segments represented here. We've got high capacity with the XL, and then we've got our Vita-Prep and Vita-Prep 3, which are tried and true workhorses in that half-gallon capacity or lower per blend. And with the Vita-Prep, we've got the same control options on the Vita-Prep 3, the same container. Just the Vita-Prep 3 has a more robust motor, so if you're really going to push that equipment from recipe to recipe and through long points of the day, it's really great to step up into that little bit more robust motor platform. Both of these units also come complete with an accelerator tool, or tamper sometimes they're called, and that gives you the ability to really force those ingredients down into the blade. If from a physics standpoint there is enough liquid to solid ratio to allow them to flow naturally on their own, and a lot of times that's by design, right? If you're looking for a really thick, dense dip or spread consistency, you don't want to add too much liquid to it. This gives you that ability to really power through, get the most out of that motor base to do what the competition really can't with it. There's a lot of different use cases with these machines as well. These machines will heat through friction. So I think if you're making a lemon curd traditionally over a stovetop, you can do everything inside here, and that is not due to induction or anything. It's literally just the speed and power of that motor and the friction that those blades are going to create. And that's something that you'll see fairly quickly. So if you're working off of an ambient or refrigerated temperature base that's inside the container, you're looking at maybe 5 to 7 minutes. You're going to see literally steam coming outside of the container through the lid plug. And that's going to bring you into a great place to do a lot of different processing and techniques inside the container without using multiple different pieces of equipment to do that. So spice grinding is another thing that some people don't necessarily know you can do in the equipment. It's great at breaking those things down, in addition to creating different textures and really refined purees with those as well. Once you move from the Vita-Prep and Vita-Prep 3 line, you can go over to the XL. Obviously a much larger container that we've got sitting on here. This is 1.5 gallon capacity, so it gives you the ability to really do high volume. In addition to the full 1.5 gallon capacity, we also have the 64-ounce capacity. And the tamper that works for both the Vita-Prep and Vita-Prep 3 works for both of these containers as well. And again, this can be used to force ingredients in or to actually create unique flow design as you're moving things around inside the container. The smaller container gives you the ability to really power through some of those lower volumes. Because the container is a little bit smaller, you're working that area and those ingredients a little harder, even though you're not changing the speed of the motor itself. And again, speed control in your Vita-Preps, you've got a 1 to 10, an on-off, and a high speed, which runs higher than 10. With the XL, you have a 1 to 10 variable speed control, and then you have a pulse feature. And that pulse feature runs consistent with where the variable speed is located on that 1 to 10. So if I'm gonna run something that's in a smaller container or something that's very thin in the large container, I can use a lower pulse setting to just kind of bring things a little bit. So it can be a little less aggressive than a continuous speed. But if I have a container that's full of ingredients that I'm trying to make a salsa or something a little more dense, I'm gonna probably need a higher speed pulse, and that's gonna pop that and drag those ingredients and cycle them more effectively from that standpoint. So we've got a lot of different speed controls with these. The XL is really kind of built like a tractor trailer versus a high performance kind of sports car. This is just going to have a ton of torque. It's going to continue to power through, and that's really with a lot of the setup. So not only is the motor larger, but it's also belt driven. So this motor back here runs the drive in the front, and the ratio allows that motor to build more torque, to turn more times than what the drive shaft does itself. So it'll turn a little slower for you, but really be able to power through a lot of those ingredients. So a little different in how they are set up, but both really best in class machines.